Hi, Scorpio. This is your January 2020 astrology reading, and I do apologize that I'm late getting out with them. I've trying to get them all out before the eclipse hits. It's just plain and simple. It's been the holidays, and I'm just trying to get caught up, just like everybody else in the world. With that being said, this is for. I'm sorry, my hood's like all crooked. Um, this is for all Scorpio signs. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I was listening to some readings earlier, and I was realizing how much I really hate that everybody says Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I think that's because for me, I try to make sure, and I always come out and I say when I'm doing the readings, I want to make sure that you're understanding. If you're coming to the reading as like a Venus Scorpio sign, I'm not going to be talking about love. I mean, if love shows up, then fine, we'll talk about it. But I don't see Venus as love. I see Venus as sensitivities and where that will take you, whether you're allowing it to steer you in a positive or negative way according to your sensitivities. So when you're coming to the astrology readings, I want you to understand, so you know how to understand how to cipher it for what it means in your life. And if you're like a Scorpio moon, then yeah, we're definitely in your emotions. If you're a sun Scorpio, we're talking more about, the core of what's going on around you. And then if you're a rising Scorpio, then we're talking about the houses being exactly what they are. But I keep hearing so many other people throw it out there, and I'm like, but they're not really giving you the honest idea of how to understand the readings. And I really feel that that's important because, you could be listening to it for many different reasons. And I just want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it that you possibly can. With that being said, hi, Mr. Neptune. My kitty. I am getting a lot of this month is going to have to do, for some of you, this is really going to be important for family. But I mean like direct family, like your siblings. Or maybe it's just the home itself and the neighbors and what's very much close to you. Because I'm getting a lot of that. I am definitely getting a lot of community energy going on, or memberships, like the outer world and its community. But I feel like you're going through a place of ciphering your soul. Like, you're not just, I've been saying this a lot on these readings, that we're getting to, because I'm getting that cleansing energy again. For me, every time Spirit starts giving me vinegar, that means it's time to cleanse. And what I feel in this energy, I've been saying for everybody else, but I guess it kind of goes with everybody's energy, is the cleansing. It could be, saging. It could be cleansing, with some baths and some sea salts. But I really feel like a lot of this is flushing out our inner darkness, or embracing it, healing it. Because I feel like this is more than just inner emotional security, more than just liberation. This is really ciphering more the union of you and spirit. Really coming into a more strengthened, not even strengthened, like you're really starting to see your depth of that higher self communicate with you. But that's going to be because of things that you are releasing, that you are old patterns, old unhealthy situations that you're letting go of. Let's put it this way, Scorpios, you guys are known for your emotions. And, being a water sign, you're very... It's funny because for being a water sign, you often can get put in with the fire signs because of your emotions. And I feel like this is a flush out. I don't know how else to put it. I feel like you're getting a flush out for a purification. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like a purification that's bringing you back to your spiritual truths, your spiritual morals and ethics, which are ultimately going to help your reputation, your self-realization, help you overcome your self-undoing, and it will bring you into a new level of liberation. It's cleaning up karmic lessons. It's definitely communication that you're having with yourself. Is there anything else? You might have a lot going on in that universal 10th house, because I keep getting the community, honor, reputation, prestige. And for me, that's usually that outer world. I mean, there may be a job situation changing or an advancement or a new acknowledgement in the area. But it all has to do with overcoming a part of self-deception that's kept you from it. This is the third eye that's going to help you through this. Third eye and crown. Rising above a situation and seeing it from a new perspective. Overcoming some stubborn inflexibility where you've been holding on to a burden or a fear or a blame that's blinded you in the past. But bringing out changes, this is a good thing. It just seems like it's, like I said, a flush out. I feel like it's being flushed out. But it's definitely bringing honor into the reputation or prestige. It's definitely going in that area. But it all has to do with the subconscious, that hidden self, becoming conscious and working its way through. Let me double check something real fast. I always have my notes close to me because you may be feeling burdened and overwhelmed as well, because you may be feeling the fear of thinking you have to be perfect about something, and nobody is ever perfect. Don't try to hold on to the things that are completely out of your control and try to put them in your control at this time, because let's face it, with the energies of what's going on in Capricorn, nothing, you can't control everything right now. There's things that are just not showing themselves yet. And you have to direct yourself for what's best for you. But you have to, at the same time, be able to go with the flow. The ebb and flow is what I'm hearing. The ebb and flow of the change, and be able to move with it. Like I said, I really much get waters for you right now. All right, with that being said, and they keep saying something to me about your spending of money. Or spend, maybe how you're spending your time. what you're, something to do with how you're investing yourself, your security, your time, spending either the money, the time. Yeah, I think it has to do with money. Hold on one second. Stop eating mommy's blanket. Talking to my cat. Okay, with that being said, let's jump right on into the astrology. Now, I am going to admit, if there is absolutely nothing in the house, then I'm just going to skip it. Because I'm trying to speed this up and get as much out there as quickly as I can, since I've had so many that I need to do in such a short amount of time. And if there's no planets in the house and that sign, really, more or less, long story short, you're in that normal form of energy right now, and there's nothing working for you or against you. There's nothing being swayed by the planets. So we're going to skip them and we're going to go into the areas where there is. Now, for Scorpios, there really is not anything in your first house. However, your second house is Sagittarius, and you have Mars here as well as Pallas. Pallas is going to move out, I believe, on the 18th and into Capricorn. But up until the 18th, you do have Mars and Pallas in this energy. Now, I'm not actually going into the aspects, but I'm giving you a majority of the energy either way for you to understand what you're feeling and dealing with it this time. The second house is how we gain and spend our money. It is our possessions. It's our money house. But it usually speaks to us, like I said, in how we gain and spend our money. It speaks to us about those things that help us feel good about ourselves. Because the second house is our self-worth, our self-value, our self-esteem. It's where liberation is found or created. And when we're strong in our self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, then those small possessions like your cell phone, your glasses, maybe you're a person who wears scarves, I don't know. But we have certain little tweaks that help us be us. And these are those things that I'm talking about. And that might also be speaking to you about spending that money in one form or another, and investing in yourself, helping, strengthen your security, whether it's actually spending money or spending time on yourself. This is right now, you have Mars here in Sagittarius. So your higher self, I see Sagittarius as the home of the higher self. It's usually unattached to everybody else, very adventurous, very curious, but very go with the flow. And at the same time, we're putting Mars in this energy, and this energy is speaking to you about possessions, self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. So for me, this is that sacral chakra and your own inner fires for yourself. Your inner fires for yourself, your sacral chakra strengthening, which will actually strengthen your core, which is your solar plexus, and then continue to rise. Strengthening that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem helps shift you into strengthening who you are, your actual security, because of the investment on yourself. Mars is asking you to take action in this, to take action and put the fire and the passion into yourself at this time, as well as spend that time for the securities. Okay, I said for the insecurities. So this is about you working on overcoming your insecurities, which will strengthen exactly who you are. And put passion and action and aggression and sacral chakra healing energy into this house, which will ultimately bring it back to your self-awareness, your personality, your appearance, covering both your first and your second house. Now, your third house is the communication zone. And that's where intellect, details, trivia, communication, phone calls, emails, gossip is taking place. But for you, that's Capricorn. And for you at this time, this is speaking to you with all of this major, I wanted to say majestic energy. I feel like that's them more than me, because I don't see this energy that way, really. I see this energy in a different form, at least in my own life. But this is helping you, in a way, find a new way to create that communication. Which is weird, because I do feel like the communication is very Neptune-y for you. Very majestically, very magically inclined. And this is very good, because I'm finding ciphering the journey of yourself, the journey of your soul, and how you're going to communicate with yourself. And I guess that's why I'm getting it very Neptune-y, even though we're talking about Capricorn, Mercury, the sun, on the day of the lunar eclipse. And this is in opposition of that lunar eclipse, that communication. Because truthfully, the lunar eclipse takes place on the 10th in Cancer. Now for you, that's your 9th house. Yeah. So your 9th house on the lunar eclipse, which is the higher self, the way I see it, is kind of having a problem with the communication. With your own personal communication. So you might be, because I was just told the details are in the communication that will help you to understand, I guess, the world around you or your own self, considering it's an opposition of your higher self. And it's teaching you what you need to learn about how you communicate that will help you. Because you might be good at manipulating. I mean, it fits a Scorpio. You might be very good at manipulating a situation, but you may be finding out that kind of shit just don't serve you anymore. And this is getting really deep to the roots and the truth of these communications, of what's going on in your life, and having to really dig deep into the truth of these communications. Because, like I said, you have the South Node there, you have the South Node in your communication zone, you have Saturn in your communication zone, you have Pluto in your communication, the Sun, Mercury, overloading that communication, Ceres. This is also karma and threefold coming back into the communication. So what you may be withholding may be finding a way to withhold itself from you. You see what I'm saying? The threefold. What you aren't properly nurturing in communication may be finding a way to show you how it's not going to nurture you. This is the time to really get deep and true with your communication, with yourself and with others. There's no slacking here. This is deep truths and no shortcuts is what I'm getting. And with that communication, believe in your self-esteem is what Spirit just said. Believe in your self-esteem, because there is something about the delivery system and something about, and very important, at least through the eclipses. Maybe it's showing itself through these eclipses and then going to come back to it at the new full moon at the end of the month and start to reflect from there. But communication is very important this month. There's no half-assing it. I really feel like there's no half-assing it. And this is, what needs to spew out, the getting to the truth, the roots, the depth of the communication. There's no shortcuts is really what I'm getting. And properly nurture the truths and find out where the truths are not coming and being given to you as well. Now, in your 4th house, you are going to have, because that's Aquarius, on the 16th and then on the 20th. On the 16th, Mercury moves into your fourth house. On the 20th, the sun moves into your fourth house. This is helping you strengthen that inner emotional security, getting to those deeper roots, the true, real self. Aquarius means you're already kind of see things from a higher aspect, but you might overanalyze it and pick it apart, meaning your own inner emotional security. You may rip yourself apart in this situation. Mercury is coming in to communicate to you, as well as the sun, and illuminate what you've done right and what you've done wrong to strengthen that inner emotional security, and what you need to do to bring that strengthening in. Like I said, I really feel you've got sacral chakra building that solar plexus, but then that higher self is communicating with that third chakra. So the crown and the third eye, I really feel like you have a lot of spiritual activity going on. And I mean, I'm really picking it up from you more than I have on many of them. This is a reincarnation. But I feel like it's a journey to the end of the earth, or to the inside of the earth. Like, you are definitely journeying to the truth, to your own inner emotional roots, your own inner emotional depths. And you're bringing you back, unlike you've ever known you before. So this is a beautiful thing. You're taking a new gamble on yourself, is what I'm getting from this. And finding how to communicate in new ways by truly getting to a depth on a different level from what you've normally viewed it to be. Yeah, because they're pulling me back, like they're telling you, go deeper, go deeper is what I feel like I'm getting. Now, as you move into that fifth house, this is where Neptune is. This is your inner child. You're going to have Venus moving in to Pisces, because this is the Pisces energy for you, on the 13th. But Neptune is already here. This is your inner pursuit of pleasure. This is your inner child. Your being you, and learning to be okay with being you, accepting that inner child, accepting that fun, accepting what brings you pleasure, and wanting to experience it. This is all about what makes you tick, and how you can communicate what it is you desire within your pursuit of pleasure, within your personal interests. Personal interests, the fifth house, our inner child, is what first makes the friends, or what first speaks to the new lover. Is where it begins, because of that creative expression, because of that chance, because of that magical sense of moment. And this is asking you to really step into that energy right now. Really step into that energy, but very much be grounded and aware of what is being done, because it's definitely setting, it's turning for you. It's turning, like corners for you is what I'm getting. And that can really strengthen the investments of your inner security, but at the same time giving you a chance to build something new by taking the chance on yourself again. Pay attention to what your creative expression is, your pursuit of pleasure, your personal interests. Because if you're getting right with what makes you happy, then you're getting right with your inner emotional security, which is, in the long run, just going to help to bring you into a new level of self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and closer to your true higher self. So this, like I said, this is very much positive energy for you. I feel like this is very good. Now, your sixth house, the only thing you have going on here really is Chiron, which is finding new routines, healing unhealthy routines. Because this is your everyday daily tasks. This is your health, your diet, your hygiene, your ability to work, but it is also the working environment, your careers, and the daily work. I like to call this energy our everyday, daily, mundane tasks. And absolutely nothing about these daily routines really are mundane. The people, places, and things of energy that you consume in these daily routines actually build everything around you. Chiron is here making you start to realize where these routines need to be tweaked, because there are routines that are unhealthy and need to be shifted. Lilith, even though it's in the 5th house with your inner emotional creativity and expression, it is speaking to you about where you don't have time for yourself. And what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about making time for yourself, making time for your own personal interests, making time for fun, and incorporating that into the routines, as well as the people, places, and things of these mundane tasks that we consume every day? This is asking you to get right with that healing that brings back that inner child's creativity and fun, which ultimately makes you shine more. Then you have your 7th house. Yeah, and your 7th house is the relationship zone. It is the partner zone. And typically when we want balance in it, we want harmony in it. For you, this is Taurus. So you really want to create your own personal idea of heaven within these relationships. But you have Uranus, which has been in retrograde, and he's about to come out, which is really making you focus on your own independence, your own individuality, your own uniqueness, your freedom, as well as that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Saying, I'm not going to be second to nothing. Saying that I want to be number one in this relationship, but remember, all relationships take 2 to tango. So we're all supposed to be fair and even and balanced. But this is saying, make sure that you are definitely showing your unique self. Definitely coming out and showing the fire of who and what you are and what you bring to the table. As well as, like I said, this is how you state, your independence from the rest. This is how you possess you within the relationship, is what I was just told. Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, coming into the relationship itself, because it's been in retrograde for many months, and now it's coming out and ready to spit this information out to whoever is in your relationships, whether it's home, work, spouses, children, parents, anything you care about, you have a relationship with, and the people that these relationships are with are definitely going to be seeing that inner bull in you come out. And seeing you maybe for a level they've not seen you for before. Now, in the rules, the walls, the boundaries, the 8th house, there's really nothing going on here. But I feel like you've got more than enough going on in the 7th house to cover that. Now, where the eclipse takes place on the 10th is in Cancer. And for you, this is your higher self. Now, your higher self is the lunar eclipse, the full moon, and the same day Uranus is going direct. Okay? So this is, like I said, this is coming into a new foundation of you. Journey into the new foundation of who and what you are. Into the true depths of you. into your spiritual truth, your spiritual psychic energy, your trusting in yourself, trusting in the union between you and that higher self, really connecting with that higher education of that higher self, of that higher mind, that spiritual wisdom, those spiritual urges, that psychic energy, as well as ethics and morals. And for some of you, this is going to have everything to do with religion, even more than higher self, because I consider this house to be the higher self, but I am being directed towards, for some of you, this is going to be travel. Some of you, this is going to be psychic traveling. And some of you, this is definitely going to be about religion in some form, is what I'm getting. And like I said, that's going back and forth. The solar eclipse on the 26th of December took place in your communication zone. Now it's taking place in that higher self and your ethics, your morals, your true spiritual truths. And then it's going to kind of bounce itself back at that new moon on the 27th and recap what you've learned and what you're doing about that. So you're going to be feeling that energy. Now, as you come into, you don't have anything going on in the 10th house, you don't have anything going on in the 11th house, but what you do have, and that makes sense, I didn't even catch that until right now, your 12th house is Libra. Libra is all about balance and harmony and trying to